All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to take a look at Act 3 of Macbeth. This is the central act of the five-act tragedy, so it's the turning point in the climax. And it opens up right where Act 2 ends. Macbeth finally has all of his dreams come true. He has been named king. Duncan is dead. His two sons, Malcolm and Donalbain, have run away, and he has become the new king of Scotland. But his best friend Banquo is beginning to be a little bit suspicious. He realizes things have happened a little too quickly and a little too conveniently. He tells us, "Thou hast it now, King Cawdor Glamis, all as the weird women promised. Yet I fear thou playedst most foully for it." So he's beginning to put the pieces together. Yes, the prediction came true, but I suspect foul play. I think you may have murdered your way to the top. Macbeth, on the other hand, is also worried about Banquo. The other part of that prediction was that Banquo's sons would one day become kings. And so he feels that he did the dirty work, he did the murder, and who's going to benefit? Banquo. For the seeds of Banquo I have defiled my mind. Right? This is the second part of that prophecy. I've defiled my mind, I've committed a crime, I might go to hell, I've committed murder and treason, and Banquo's sons will get the benefit. So, to get around this, Macbeth makes a decision. He hires hitmen, murderers, to kill Banquo and his son Fleance. He tells them that Banquo is their enemy, and he hires them to do it today. He knows that Banquo and his son are going to go on a horseback ride through the woods and the forests, and they should dispatch them, do away with them. Meanwhile, Lady Macbeth and Macbeth are unhappy. Macbeth can't sleep. And you might remember that after he kills Duncan, he believes he hears voices saying, "Macbeth has murdered sleep. Macbeth shall sleep no more." And that's coming true. He now is king, but he has all the fears that somebody's going to come after him, that he will not rule a long, happy reign. So the next scene is the murder scene. The hitmen come out and they enact the trap just as Macbeth had ordered, but it goes awry. They kill Banquo easily, but Fleance gets away. And in many ways, this is the worst news for Macbeth. Banquo was never the threat. It was always his children. Now with Banquo dead, we know he can't have any more, but Fleance is the son. He gets away. So the prophecy lives on. And now we have one of the most famous scenes in the whole play. Macbeth is hosting a banquet with all the other thanes, the important nobles of the land, and he welcomes them and toasts to them. But when he goes to sit down, he sees somebody in the chair. It's the ghost of Banquo. Now, we've seen strange sights before, whether it was the witches themselves or the floating dagger, but now we see Macbeth having a breakdown. He freaks out and loses it. He sees this ghost in the chair and starts babbling and saying crazy things that maybe he shouldn't be saying. Now, is this a real ghost? In Shakespeare's time, they believed in the supernatural. That's certainly possible. Is it maybe a manifestation of his guilt? Also possible. Maybe he really is having a psychological breakdown. That's a modern interpretation. But the rest of the ghosts can't see it, or the rest of the guests can't see the ghost. And all they see is Macbeth freaking out, talking to the air, saying weird things about blood and wounds and cuts. So Lady Macbeth tries to take control of the situation. We saw her take control before, whether that's manipulating her husband, whether that's getting the bodyguards drunk. Now she says that her husband is having a fit. He's had them since youth, but it is momentary. It'll go away. But she ends the party and sends everyone home. So as the scene ends, we see Act 3 is over. Banquo is invited to the banquet. He's killed by the hitmen. Fleance escapes. And then the banquet scene that goes terribly wrong, where Macbeth sees the ghost. When the act ends, we realize that Macbeth needs to get control. And he's worried that a character named Macduff did not show up to the banquet. He also vows to go back to the witches to get more answers. Everything they said so far has been true, but not the way he imagined. And now he wants to get some answers. With Banquo dead, is he safe? What will happen next? And we'll see that in Act 4.